and gentlemen, welcome to episode 152 of Petey's Awesome Guest Panel, and this is a very special episode indeed. I welcome back a really good friend of mine, and of course the 90s legends to all kids out here, including our wonderful co-host for this evening. And before we introduce tonight's guest star for this evening, I would like to introduce tonight's co-host for this evening. First off, the guy who is the Ed McMahon to my Johnny Carson, and as my good pal, Mr. Christopher Patty.
Hey, yo.
Did you still patent that, by the way, Chris? Like, you can't say, hey, you can't say hi-yo because that's McMahon patented, but can you do hey-yo?
I still got to talk to the patenting office, man. And I still got to, pony up the cash to the lawyer.
You have my support, brother. Introducing also tonight, representing Morphin Time Fitness, Mr. Rob Dunnan.
What's up, everybody? Thanks for having me on again. Love being here. Thank you, Danny, coming on.
Always a pleasure to have you. Also introducing from the land from down under, Miss Jessie Devine.
Hi.
You know what I'm going to say next, right, Jess? You know I'm going to say I love your positive optimism.
Yeah, me too. Thank you.
Well, anytime. And last,
always so happy.
And absolutely not least, my good man, my pal, Dan Romano.
Hey, Pete, glad to be here. And Danny, nice to have another Dan on the panel. So just again, glad to be here. And nice to finally meet you, too. I'm a longtime fan, so nice to finally meet you.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
And I got to give you I'm going to give my guest star a wild introduction tonight, everybody. And also, Dan, you just said it took. We have two Dans here. Dan and Mania running wild. And my guest star, we're going to talk about this gentleman here tonight. He is not only a 90s legend, he is a legend to all 90s kids out there, including myself and my co-host joining me tonight. He's also the man who in 1990 was the richest bully in Acme Acre. Then fast forward to 1996, this is a man who finally left his stoop after all these years. He is a man who I have been a fan of for a long time. He was part of a wonderful heavy metal band that I was a big fan of called Bad for Good. He is the legendary, of course, the star of many projects known as Different Strokes, Terminator 2, Hey Arnold, Dave the Barbarian, and many, many more. My guest this time is the legendary Danny Cooksey. Danny, welcome. How are you today?
Hello. Good. I'm good. How are you guys doing?
Pumped up.
Good.
Hold up, okay.
Nice.
We're pumped up to
Just enjoying this nice California weather out here.
Yeah.
That's so cool. And
my siblings would love that as well. My siblings would love
It's quite nice. It's in the evening. It's overcast. It's nice. It's not too cold. It's dry.
It's just right.
Yeah.
It's just right.
It's actually not too bad out here today for a change.
Can I say really quick? I love that you're
rain. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just gonna say I love that you're embracing the Nickelodeon. You got the orange and green on. That's amazing.
Yeah. It's my friend Mark Cooper. He's like a DJ rapper guy. It's the orange tape. He's so I'm rocking his shirt tonight.
Oh, that's so cool.
And let me say too, Danny, that in the night, back in the day, we also had the two Corys, but in the 90s, we've had the two Dannys. We had Danny Cooksey and we had Danny Tamborelli.
He's a legend.
Yeah. There were two Dannys. He's an awesome guy too. Love that guy.
Both of you are just legendary and epic. And of course, one of the questions I have for you today, sir, and we're going to dive right into the questions as well, is we talked about, in our last interview, we talked about your career, you have a wonderful acting career and voiceover career. You've also had a career, you have a very amazing voice and a wonderful career as a musician. And I was just curious to know, sir, memories of your time in Bad for Good and the heavy metal band that you were the lead vocalist in Bad for Good. And also, can you give us an origin story of how it was the formation of Bad for Good?
Yeah. So it was like the early 90s, and the guy that Thomas McLaughlin, who was the young guitar player, they were just kind of putting a band around him. And I don't know how I initially heard of it, but I sort of went on kind of like an audition, and it ended up sort of doing this project. And then it was the Steve Vai produced project. So we did about a year in rehearsals, writing rehearsals. And then another year, in Vai's home studio making the record. And it was an amazing experience. Super. I was making Salute Your Shorts, filming Terminator 2, recording Tiny Toons, and making the Bad for Good record all at sort of the same time. There was, it was a lot. It was 91 was a very it was a busy time. But I was 16. I got the energy for it.
So cool.
There you go.
But it was an amazing experience to be a part of, to say the least.
Now, I actually have a surprise for you. And before we move on to the next question, too, because, you know, we all have lots of questions that we have here, especially Terminator and different strokes related questions as well. And questions that we didn't ask, Bo. But we actually have a surprise for you tonight, sir. Here's
Oh
we
boy.
have for you. See, back, you know, and everyone, and I'm going to address this to not only you and the co-host, but I want to address everyone watch at home. Back in the 90s, there was a wonderful episode of Tiny Toons called Tiny Toons Music Television. And there was in every segment, there was a character singing a popular song. And of course, the legendary Danny Cooksey sang one of my favorite songs by Barrett Strong, which was Money, That's What I Want. And now, recently, I came across actual recording, and I believe you actually recorded a soundtrack, like a track of that song too, Mr. Cooksey.
Yeah. I went into some studio and we knocked it out. It was a lot of fun.
And somebody, some wonderful human being, able to take your recording and put it with the show, so that way we get to see exactly Montana Max singing it. And I want to show you that video right now, sir.
Awesome.
Okay, let me go share it. Let me know if everyone sees it on their end. And let me take a look.
I'm gonna have to download that. That sounds pretty cool. The fact they actually did that.
Here we go. I'm actually.
It's a memory unlock.
Tell me if everybody can see it.
Yeah.
Yep.
I see.
That's it.
Okay, enjoy. Legendary Danny Cooksey. Right now.
The best things in life are free, but you can give them to the birds and bees. I need my money, what I want, that's what I want.
I mean, I guess we can't show the whole thing, otherwise you're probably like, I don't know, get like one of those
I
copyright
just
marks
want to
or
show a
something like
clip
that.
of it. That's all. Hold on.
Oh,
Yeah, I
that's
think it might get
hysterical.
copyright.
That was
Yeah,
a
copyright thing
crazy.
for if we like put the entire thing on.
That was a crazy memory unlock.
No, that's cool.
Yeah, I remember going in to record it and that just being fun because I mean Max he's already a screamer anyway. So it was like it lent itself perfectly. But I don't remember ever seeing the video part to it.
I'll send you the link to the full video so you can see the whole video later.
That's awesome. That'd be rad. Thank you.
We got more videos to show later on, but we're going to dive right into the questions too. And I believe Dan has his first question ready. Dan, your first question for Dan and Dan.
How does it feel to be a legend?
It just feels normal. It seems ridiculous, but I'll take what I can get.
And also, Dan, you had a question too related to, and both myself, Rob, and Dan are very curious to ask this. So go ahead, Dan, ask this question.
But
It was
wait, was that on the list?
Question, Terminator related question.
Oh yeah, how was it
really
working
good.
with James Cameron?
It was fantastic. We had just a lot of fun. It was it's such a big production. I was on set a lot of days, just sort of, the only thing that got to was like, us zipping through an alleyway on the bike, and different things. I think there were like 3 or 4 different locations that we were going to get the ATM thing in. And then it was like, oh, let's just sort of throw it in. We're now going to move it up to the ATM down the street. And it was just, it was wild, but it was amazing to be a part of such a gigantic production like that.
It was a
funny.
huge step.
We were doing, oh, go ahead.
But I was just gonna say too, it was a big thing in cinema history too, because that was when CGI was still in its early stages coming out, when they were working with liquid metal. So you're part of a big, that's like huge history right there. Plus, I'm not sure if you know this, like your character has become a meme since then. It's like this kid single-handedly saved the world for instinctually lying to a cop. It's so great.
At least until it's
Yeah,
Terminator Dark
it's a fun
Fate.
one.
Your character was the
It was
unsung
pretty
hero of Terminator 2 because you didn't rat out your friend to the cops.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
I know, Rat.
And unfortunately, until Terminator Dark Fate, though, where John Connor actually gets killed right after the events. I mean, like, what the hell? After all that?
Well, I think I died. There was a scene that didn't quite make it, which is my character getting like ass over tea kettle into an arcade machine. So you only see me leave the frame, but yeah, he got. I think he got dealt with in the arcade. Poor
Maybe you talked
Tim.
about that last time.
Yeah, and that was funny because I was I remember telling James Cameron like, hey, I can jump off this ladder. Let me do this. Let me do my own stunt. And after 2 or 3 takes, he's like, hey, we're gonna do it again. He's like, are you happy that you decided to do this now? Because we're gonna quite a few more times. It was funny.
Chris,
and then of course it didn't get used anyway.
Bummer.
But still, is it like you're a part of like huge cinematic history? Because that was just a big, like that was right before Jurassic Park came out, and that was another stepping stone. But Terminator 2 is the thing that started it, that lifted it.
Yeah,
like without Terminator 2, we wouldn't have gotten Jurassic Park.
Yeah, or I mean, a lot. They definitely visual effects and special effects wise, it was ahead of its. I remember reading the script and the sort of the description of like the of the liquid metal sort of thing. And I was a huge fan of I loved the movie Abyss. And so I'm going,
so good.
I kind of like went, it's probably going to look a little bit like the water effect but by the time we got to the premiere, it was awesome to see it was much better than what I imagined the final product looking like.
So. And it still holds up today. I mean, that movie is aged like a fine wine.
It is. It's just enough like actual sort of real kind of effects and then computer effects. It's like the merge of, it's the perfect bridge between that and this. And I think that's why it holds up so well. And it's a damn good story too.
I agree.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And ever since they added T-1000 into Mortal Kombat 1 and made him a DLC character, and apparently Terminator 2 has just been getting the extra clicks that it needs. It just essentially
nice. Keep it coming.
Be staying relevant again,
Yeah.
Totally. Chris, you had a question.
So what was your favorite part about playing Bobby Budnick on Salute Your Shorts?
Oh, it was such a different from doing like a 4-camera sitcom in the 80s to then and doing different guest star stuff. It was a comedy show, but it was filmed with single camera like a movie. So whereas Different Strokes was more like kind of like a play in front of a studio audience where we would do it 2 times beginning to end, and it was like a taped play essentially. With Salute Your Shorts, we could, it was little bits of a scene like a movie is filmed, and we could do it as many times as we wanted. Oh, that was funny. What if we did this? What if we did that? So it was a lot of like on the moment, it was a lot of fun. And just by way of it, the way it was shot and the crew and everything, it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun to make.
And taken from us too soon.
Totally.
Yes.
Jess.
Yes.
Your question.
Okay. Do you prefer live action roles or voiceover roles like Brett and Chet, the twins from the Lorax? And what's the positives of working both?
Right after Terminator, so about 17, 18, I had like the first thing that I did was Different Strokes, and it was 24 episodes a year, and so by the time I was like 17, 18, I was already doing voiceovers at that time, and I just kind of stopped doing it. I just kind of went like, all right, I've done like on camera stuff. So really, after about 17, 18, I just decided like, I'll just do this voiceover thing, and I like this much better. It's listen, I could show up in my pajamas and slippers if I wanted to make a cartoon, and I mean they were both fantastic, and I got no regrets or anything bad to say about either one. It was fun, it was creative, and the people were amazing.
Great to hear.
So cool.
Maybe I should try voiceover one day.
It's amazing that I actually got paid to do some of the things that I did for cartoons. It was like it's like I go in, I make a bunch of funny noises. They were paying me for stuff I would get kicked out of class for. This is nuts. This is my job.
Danny, I have to ask you, because throughout history, we've had evil laughs from every villain we could think of. We have the Joker laugh. We have Jafar's evil laugh. We have Sideshow Bob's laugh. And of course, and I'm not just saying this, Danny, because you're on the air, but if I had to give my Mount Rushmore of my favorite villain laughs, it would be, of course, the ones I just named. And of course, Montana Max's laugh. Like, I need to know, because you were so damn good with that laugh, that maniacal laugh. How did you do that laugh? That was so fucking cool.
He would have this sort of where it would be like or sometimes it wasn't like a maniacal laugh, as it was sort of coming out and saying something, and then it was the like Nirvana. It was loud, soft, loud, soft.
So, can I give an example of that, sir?
Oh, let's see. It would be like if he was saying a lot. I can't do because I was much younger. But then it'd be, get over here, rabbit.
One of my favorite, Danny, one of my favorites will always be like, and a perfect example of how you went from low to high would be when you were explaining to Arnold in that Stoop Kid episode. You're like, Arnold, you told me a really good thing. Now I can harass people from my stoop and from off my stoop.
That was probably about a 20-minute workday, literally on a lunch break from Salute Your Shorts. And so for the fact that little moment that I went in to record that, it's become Stoop Kid. I remember going to a Comic-Con type of autograph signing thing, and they had pictures of Stoop Kid, and I went, wait, what is this? And they were like, it's Stoop Kid. They're like, have you never seen it? I'm like, no, I don't think I had. I did not know. And they were like, this is the best episode of the thing. And I was like, okay, if you say so. It is. I mean, there's like little toys made, and then when they made the movie, I got they sent me an email and with a voice reference going, can you still sound like this? And I'm like, what, me when I was 16? Let's give it a shot. I think maybe. So I think in total over the course of like 25 years, I've done maybe 25 to 30 minutes work on Stoop Kid total.
and Danny, for tonight, I am Eugenie. I will give you 3 clips, and here's the second clip I want to show you too, and you're gonna laugh your ass off on this one. I showed it to you earlier, but this is a prime example, everyone, of why I think Danny is like a master of like expressions and emotions. Because of this clip, this 20-second clip is the reason why I think he's the GOAT. Here we go.
Oh, thank you.
We're gonna play that clip right now. Can everybody see it?
Yeah.
Got it.
Okay.
Yeah, there we go.
Let's see.
Hey, Stoop Kid, you baby. Where's your diapers? When no baby Stoop Kid, afraid to leave a stoop.
Right here.
Come here, fat boy. I'm gonna roll you downtown.
Sorry, I had to play that.
That is
okay.
too funny.
Yeah.
That is rad.
It's all the difference
It's,
that the impact of delivery really makes.
I mean, to me, it sounds it's Montana Max.
Yeah.
It is. Would you
Yeah.
like? Would you
That's
say
awesome. I don't know that I've ever seen it. That was rad.
I'll send you the whole clip of that thing. Your just delivery in that whole episode is like, it's like when you do this episode, Stoop Kid, I felt like you weren't even reading a script. It felt so natural. It felt so real. It's like I felt his emotions. Like when you were like when Stoop Kid was crying on the stoop, I felt that. Like when he told Arnold, "Just shut up and leave me alone," I felt that.
Awesome. And that's that's why they pay me the mediocre bucks.
They should have paid you more.
They should pay. Give him a raise. Give Danny a raise. His performance is just excellent.
Give him a royalties raise.
Yes,
it's been yours.
I agree. I totally agree. Robbie, your question.
All right. Can you tell us any funny behind the scenes occurrences from Tiny Toons? Anything you can remember?
I mean, I don't know how, we did so many episodes. I think I started when I was like 13 or 14, and I was still doing it at like 16, 17. You know, it all sort of runs together, but that was we taped as a group. So the entire cast was there. And it was, it was at sometimes probably 12, 14 of us. It felt a lot like school. Everybody had their assigned seats. And for me, it was a master class. You know, you got guys that, Don Messick was a legend. I mean, they were just a room full of absolute masters. And I'm this like kid going like, dude, how in the hell did I get here? Like, what am I doing here? It was so much fun. I mean, it was a very well cast show, and the people that were on there have a legacy that they leave behind. When it was great.
When you did Tiny Toons, who was your voice director? Was it Andrea Romano?
It was Andrea Romano. Yeah, she did all of them. Yeah.
Dan, is she related to you by any chance?
No, that'd be cool if she was.
Is that a long lost relative, Dan?
Of course, Dan, you had like an all-star cast. I mean, Rob Paulson was on the show, Maurice LaMarche was on that show. You worked very closely, I believe, with Cray Summers because Montana Max and Elmira were. And what was she like, Cray Summers? Because she's another one. I'm a huge fan of her work.
Yeah, I mean, she is as a human being just absolutely awesome. And we were the two youngins. You know what I mean? I mean, she was probably 19, 20, I'm guessing. You know what I mean? I think she rode a motorcycle at the time. Like, she was just a badass. She's the same badass then as she is now. But yeah, we were the youngins, and we were making everybody laugh because I think we were kind of just outrageous and out of the blue,
Oh, so many great episodes.
They gave us all the good stuff.
They did.
Yeah, and it all runs together for me.
That's so cool, sir.
Also think about how it was a bit of a mixed blessing that you didn't end up coming back for the reboot, because it actually turned out to be pretty bad. But at the same time, I kind of wonder if it would have been better if they brought the original cast back, including yourself.
It's hard to remake something that really has, it's got sort of like a built-in history to it. You don't want to see it any other way. I haven't seen the new one, but I don't even think production like directors, writers, I don't even know if any of those were the same. I think there was just kind of like a whole new thing, but I don't know. I could be making that up. I really don't know.
I didn't even know they made a new one.
But yeah, it would have been fun.
I saw a clip of it on YouTube.
It would have been fun.
Yeah. Well, count yourself lucky that you didn't even see
I remember
second.
hearing the thing. I usually watch something like the first sort of episode, the first time that I get to see it, and then it's kind of it's like, okay, that's what it looks like, and so I haven't seen I've probably seen a handful of all of the different Tiny Toons maybe a handful of them.
Did you see the one where Montana Max was on the game show with Elmira?
I don't think so.
I remember you delivered
I
this
don't think
line.
I've seen that one.
I remember you delivered this line. I was like, damn, Dan is so good. Like, there was an episode where, I mean, in that episode, there was an episode where Byron the dog goes, something, he says rough, and then you go, what was his answer? And then he says, and then you go, I disagree with this whole show, and you start screaming. He said, bark, that's not an answer. Dog said bark, that's not an answer. I was like, damn,
That's
Dan
awesome.
is good with that projecting.
That's it.
Yeah,
That's what
I'm always loud.
Of course, Rob, you have another question, Robbie. What was it?
Oh yeah, so how was it like filming Different Strokes? I mean, that was like when I was a kid, that was like the first thing I saw you on, and then a couple scattered things after that, obviously before Salute Your Shorts. But
Yeah.
like, how'd you get along with like Gary Coleman and some of the other cast?
They had all been there they'd been there for they were there many, many years before I came onto it. And everyone could not have been nicer, welcoming, and it was an amazing, amazing experience. Because I watched the show as a kid, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh my gosh, like I'm in the bedroom, this is I'm in the living room. Yeah, I mean it was wild, and it was fantastic. And like I said, it's I'm like the new kid coming in, and like I said, everyone could not have been nicer and more welcoming, and it was an amazing experience. And like I said, with Salute Your Shorts being like a one camera, that era of like in front of a live audience. And it's like I've heard even like friends and stuff where they were like, it took 4 or 5 hours. They had it down pat. We were 2 audiences, beginning of the show, end of show. It would take about maybe 45 minutes to an hour. It's like it was like taping a play. It was like bang, 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 let's get it on. It was great. It was like, I imagine had to have been close to what live TV or something would have felt like. Like that, it had that, like if we really messed up, we'd start again. But for the most part, we're rolling.
I have to ask you this, Danny, because I never asked this question when we asked last time, though. Do you believe in the old philosophy that the world don't move to the beat of just one drum? It may be right for you, but it may not be right for some.
Look, a man is born. Alan Thicke wrote that. Alan Thicke wrote that song.
Genius.
no way.
He wrote a lot of TV. He wrote
a lot of them. Yeah, yeah, he did. It's like that and the Jeffersons. It's like it holds up.
And Maud.
It does.
Maud too.
It's
Great.
Maud too. I like the theme song to Maud.
That was also
I've
Growing
always
Pains,
loved the
another
theme
show
song
you
to
get
Alice.
started.
What was that, Danny?
Yeah. I said I always loved the theme song to Alice. You remember Alice? The waiter was like, "Kiss my grit smell." I like that. That's a great theme song.
Did you like Danny?
Shout out to Alice.
Danny, did you like the theme song?
Say
to
again?
Three's Company. Did you like Three's Company's theme song? Come on, knock on our door. We'll be waiting.
Yeah. Yeah, it was great. It was loungy.
It's catchy.
I was
love
a Mr. Furley guy. Yeah.
So
back when theme songs were good.
I agree.
It's true. Yeah.
Totally agree.
They don't make theme songs like that anymore.
They do not.
Well, now you can just skip them. It's like you could skip the open credits.
I actually have. I'm curious.
Back in my day, we were forced to watch the opening credits.
The last theme I liked was the Sopranos theme. That was really good. That you can re-listen to all the time.
Woke up this morning.
Yeah.
But really quick, I want to touch on the Different Strokes. You know what's funny about that show? Even you couldn't do anything like that nowadays. Nowadays they'd be afraid to touch some of the topics that were in there. Like there was one I remember, I forgot if it was the neighbor or someone was a molester or pedo or something. Just they wouldn't touch. Wow. Yeah, they wouldn't touch that stuff nowadays. So that's I miss television like that. They were like they'd be too afraid to do it now.
It was the guy at the bicycle shop.
Even the episode where your character got kidnapped was just super disturbing.
Yeah, it was a very special 2-part episode.
But that guy
There's
was
the cliffhanger.
that guy was intimidating. I mean, they picked one of the most intimidating looking dudes on the lot to play that guy.
Excellent casting.
But
That was a lot
right
of
when
fun.
that stuff. Yeah, what's interesting is that was when that stuff just started getting started. Like that didn't really happen in the 80s and 90s so much. That it got it got worse, I should say. The kidnappings and you hear it on the news all the time. A kid's gone missing and blah blah blah. Anyway, sorry, it's just
Yeah.
interesting to think about that stuff sometimes.
Yeah, no, I
I'm
think
weird like that.
Even Different Strokes, as prior to my being on the show, it's all of the episodes had a bit of a message for the most part.
Yeah.
There was always
Totally.
and they didn't beat you over the head with it either. It was like it was kind of subtle.
It was
It
cool.
was good.
It was
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
It reminded me of like when
I got-
dinosaurs used to do their PSAs, like a public service announcement. It was one episode they did one like on drugs, and it was really good how they did it at the end, where where it seemed like they were breaking character when they really weren't.
The old PSA,
Yes,
and that's one to grow on.
Yeah.
I remember that. I actually was watching earlier today. There was a PSA that you did, probably the one you just mentioned, where you're sitting in a chair, you have a kick-ass suit on, you have this big chair like a throne chair, and you're giving this public service.
Yeah. Yeah, I did a number of those. And it might have been, I think it was called One to Grow On, or maybe that was a different one that I did. But yeah, I did probably 50 or 60 of those total. It was fun.
It was totally, and it was definitely fun watching it too. And you mentioned too, like Stoop Kid was like Montana Max. Would you say, is it fair to say that Stoop Kid is an older version, like personality wise, and like is he like an older version of Montana Max or no?
I mean, I was just saying, for me, like vocally, when I hear it, I'm going like, oh, it's the same yelly stuff I always do.
Oh, and you were absolutely great at that too.
Well,
And, what was that, Dan?
Oh, really? I just think it's interesting that you were that young doing it. I didn't know you were 16, 17 doing that. His voice.
Yeah,
That's so
or maybe
cool.
like 15, 16, somewhere around that time. Yeah. Yeah, but all of the characters that I do, I think, other than I played a character, Milo, on Pepper Ann, and he was a bit of a mumbler. He was low energy. But other than that, I'm pretty sure everything I ever did was like a yeller, screamer guy.
How about Dave the Barbarian?
That might be my favorite show. It's just as far as fun to make. That show was just there was no ceiling or how far we could be big and over the top on that show. That we would get the giggle. I mean, it was just it was a great cast. And once again, we were as a group, and it was the poor Lisa Schaefer, the poor vocal director, having to harangue, it was like she was like a kindergarten. We were all kindergartners. And it's like, okay, can we stop all the fussing, playing, and let's make a cartoon, guys.
Jammers.
And no, you can't say that on the air. It was great. I loved that show.
Oh, it was a great show. And I have to say, too, before I ask my next question, too, I just want to say, Danny, that, you know what, we're all huge fan of yours. Like, you left a legacy, like, in Nickelodeon, like, in anything, like, whether it's Different Strokes, Nickelodeon shows, anything. Like, I remember, like, my parents used to take me and my big sister to Blockbuster, and we always used to rent Tiny Toon videos. We used to rent the video games from Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis. And by the way, as an adult, I can say I think you're one of the best, but as a kid, I was like, "Damn you, Montana Max!" Every time I lost him in the video game. But my next question for you, and it's related to this, is what do you think of the impact of both Hey Arnold and Tiny Toon Adventures has caused on both new and old generation of generation of fans years later, after 30 years?
Yeah, I think it's wild. It's like I said, I've gone and done like Comic-Cons and things like that and appearances. And it's such a wide range of people that come up. It's like I've been really just immensely blessed to be a part of a handful of projects that sort of have this legacy built in, that have the longevity of multiple generations sort of discovering it and being a part of it. And it's like I said, I'm super blessed to have been a part of stuff like that.
There's a song that really does go well with you, sir, and it's a song called "This Is How Legends Are Made," and that pretty much solidifies you.
Thank you. I'll
Anytime.
take it.
The next question we have, I believe, Dan, I believe that was your question.
Was it? I think Chris might have asked about. Do you have any behind the scenes, tales about how you got the audition for Tiny Toons for Montana?
I didn't ask that, but go ahead.
Yeah, I remember sort of being given a packet from my agency at the time, and sort of looked. It was like basically all of the male characters, and it was like however many. There was probably like 9 or 10 characters total, and it was like just take a shot at whichever one. I couldn't tell you which ones that I read for as well as Montana Max. Maybe all of them, because at that time, I'm like 13 years old and you're invincible. It's like, oh, if you give me 10 characters, I'll try 10 characters. So who the hell knows what I did? But I do remember looking at the packet of characters and going, wow, this is and it being a Steven Spielberg project, and of course I was a Looney Tunes fan, so it was yeah. And then I did what I did and says what I said, and that's yeah. It was. I remember the first audition was literally in like at my agency's office. It was like a closet with a microphone, and just sort of and I guess they sent it in or they recorded it to cassette, and I don't know how it was long before MP3 technology. So I imagine it was either on a reel to reel or a cassette tape.
Oh, those were the days. The Walkman.
That's so cool.
The Walkman days. And
I missed Walkman.
Me too.
Yes.
Me too. And Robbie, before you ask the next question, I gotta say something too to Danny too. Dan, do you follow professional wrestling?
Not anymore. I did. I was a big wrestling fan in the 80s. I was at WrestleMania 2. I went to all of the shows that would come into the LA area at that time, and I somewhere there's a picture of me online with Hulk Hogan somewhere.
Wow.
Oh no
And
way!
I'm wearing,
I gotta find that.
But I'm wearing a Piper shirt though.
But the reason I brought that up, Danny, is because, and by the way, Rob and Chris know exactly where I'm going with this. So there is a wrestler in real life who's like a real life Montana Max, and ironically, his name is Max too, and I'm a big fan of his work. His name is MJF, and
that's awesome.
And he reminds me so much of an adult Montana Max.
Long Island native.
Long Island native, nice.
Plainview, New
That
York,
is
baby.
awesome.
And he would say the things like Montana.
That is rad.
He would say like, "I'm gonna go to the most magical place on earth, Long Island, New York."
It is magical.
It is. But of course, Robbie, your question.
Yeah, so Danny, any advice you can give to our audience that's watching right now?
Oh, I thought I was next.
No, Chris, you had the next question.
Okay.
I think just enjoy it. I think when you're really enjoying doing something, I think that translates. You know what I mean? Have fun with it, and just yeah. I think have fun with it, and work at it. Be prepared, and it's a tough business, so you might as well have fun, because it might not be fun forever.
We have a couple
words of wisdom.
What you say, Robbie?
No, I said words of wisdom. That's awesome.
I agree.
Yeah.
We have a couple more questions before we wrap up. Danny, too. Chris, your question.
What teachings or important lessons did you take with you during your time on both Salute Your Shorts and Different Strokes?
Lessons?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I think with Different Strokes, it felt like like I said, it was more like a play, and so you really got that interaction with the crowd, much much like with a musician, because we taped in front of a live audience. So you got that sort of that, like, 1, 2, 3, red lights on, go. And the other was more of like a thought out process and sort of, but it's the mix of those things. And I think it's just sort of, it's I don't know. I don't know that I've learned a damn thing, to be honest with you. I don't know what I was talking about. It's a tough question. I don't know that and if I did, it was a long time ago and I've done forgotten it. But yeah, it was great. But I don't know that I think probably even goes back to what I said before. Just the enjoyment of being there. It's
kind of like that. You got me thinking. It's kind of like if you work, if you have fun with your job, it's not like you're like what's the saying? Like if you're having fun with your job, it's not like you're working every day of your life to do something. It's along those lines. I think I'm screwing it up how I'm saying it, but you get what I'm saying.
I got you. I'm picking up what you're putting down. I think too, and I forgot what I was going to say. Never mind.
I definitely I have to ask you too. Danny, you're in California, right?
Yeah.
How is it there? I just want to know, like, how is everything going over there over there on the west side?
That's beautiful. I live about an hour and 20 minutes, 30 minutes outside of Los Angeles. I'm in Orange County, so I'm not in the city. That's why there's trees and shit behind me. But no, it's beautiful. It's beautiful here. It's nice.
I can't wait to go
Great to hear.
I can't wait to go
Me
back.
too.
I think he means what piece. I think you're trying to ask if you weren't by the California fires, right? That was different.
No, I was not. I was actually at the weekend that it happened. I actually had like a Comic-Con convention that I was a part of in downtown LA, but it was downtown LA. It was all buildings, so there was nothing to burn down there.
Okay, good. Thank goodness. So you weren't by there.
It was horrible. No, but it was brutal.
I was in California last August though, and I went to Santa Monica. How beautiful is Santa Monica, Danny?
It's gorgeous. It's gorgeous. The whole state's gorgeous.
It is, and
it's like you can be at the beach, you can be at the mountains in an hour.
I cannot wait to go back. My fiance and I we're actually getting married next year. As part of our honeymoon, we're gonna spend 3 weeks in Vegas and California, and I cannot wait.
Nice.
Next August. I cannot wait. And who knows? Maybe I'll run into you. That would be so cool.
Yeah. Shoot me. Let me know you're in town.
Absolutely. You have my Instagram, and I'll definitely keep you posted.
Yeah, I'm down south by a different beach.
Definitely. Well, I'm definitely gonna make it a point to one day see you, because my big sis and I have been huge fans of yours growing up. Like, just talking to you right now makes me feel like that little kid. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, thank you.
We have a couple more questions, like we said, before we wrap up though, and this is the part where everyone's gonna ask their final question and or comments though, and that is and we're gonna start, of course, from bottom to top actually. So, Mr. Patty, your final comment and or question for Mr. Cooksey.
So there are quite a few roles that we didn't get to go over, and one of the roles that I certainly remember from back in the day, although I didn't follow the show too terribly well, was Challenge Showdown with your role as Jack Spicer, the show's main villain.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. It's like I love playing. It's like the bad guys always have more fun.
Absolutely.
And he was neurotic as a character. It was kind of like Dave the Barbarian, which there was no like, hey, that's too big of a reaction. You can't, like, he was a crazy person, which for a cartoon is great. It was so much fun.
Such a great show.
And when you did Dave the Barbarian, I could always just remember his iconic scream is.
Yeah, it was the girly scream, which the girly scream found its way into Shaolin Showdown as well. Jack Spicer would he would let go of the girly scream as well. Yeah, but Dave the Barbarian, there was a plethora of girly screams per episode.
And of course, there was delivery of his catchphrase, "Pajamas!"
Pajamas! Yeah.
Chris, you had a final comment?
I guess in terms of just like commenting on that, yeah, you've definitely like crafted a lot of memories for all of us, and whether it was from the '90s, the yachts, or the E10s, yeah, you've definitely just given us a lot to remember, sir.
Oh, thank you so much. You know, it's not without you guys. It's just the whole thing doesn't exist. So, as you know, we have the creating is like the tiniest little part of it. But if no one cares, then it's all for nothing. So, thank you guys.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
And of course, we're gonna start with Mr. Romano. Final comments and/or questions for Dan and Dan.
Danny, first, it's a pleasure. Again, as I said, I've been a longtime fan. Like another one of your films I just watch whenever it's on is Mac and Me. And I know people, I'm not sure how many people I love it. I think it's
I remember
hilarious.
that movie.
But
It's definitely it's a one of a kind. That's for sure.
it is. I mean, they were trying to go with ET, but it wasn't ET. But it's hilarious to watch whenever it's on. But I was looking up some of your other work too. I didn't know you were worked with Paris Hilton or Dolly Parton before in Bottoms Up and what was it, Rocky Mountain Christmas. What was that like working with those two?
I mean, Dolly Parton. She's amazing. Like John Ritter was in. Everybody and their mother was in that Christmas movie. I was like, I mean, literally. I was directed by Henry Winkler. Directed the thing. It was amazing. It was an amazing project to be a part of, and they air it every year at Christmas.
They do. I watched it last year when it was on.
Yeah,
but it's just it's so good. And then what was it like working with Paris Hilton? Like I'm sure because I
don't think I actually made the final cut of the movie, and I never got to meet her at all.
Really?
Actually, that movie was directed by the guy that played Michael on Salute Your Shorts. So that's how I got brought in.
Oh, wow.
No shit. Yeah.
Actions.
Yeah.
Cool stuff. Dan, you had a final comment?
Just nice to finally meet you. Hopefully, like we get you to Chicago one of these days, or hopefully I can come to California and see you. But just hopefully we meet at some point because I would really love to meet and hang out with you and discuss.
I pop up a few places here and there.
Will you ever visit New York?
I was there over Thanksgiving. I played a intimate acoustic performance at the Long Island. It's a retro bar in Long Island. I can't remember what it's called, but yeah, no, I've one of my best friends in the world lives in Long Island, so I get out there. I get out there pretty often.
I wish I knew that.
Rob, that's up your alley.
Yeah, I would have came out for that. Like, damn.
Yeah, it was fun. People didn't know what the hell to expect. It was they were like, I played a bunch of sad country songs and I made everybody weep. No, just
You definitely would have made
It's crazy. People love country music out here. It's bizarre.
I love it too. I was born in Oklahoma, so I grew up on I would call it real country. I don't know when country died. I don't know about this new stuff, but I like the old stuff.
Same here. I'm
Johnny Cash.
Yeah.
Well, Robbie, what's your final question and/or comment for Danny?
Yeah, I mean, more like a comment, just kind of piggybacking off everybody else. I'm sorry I might be repetitive, but thanks for coming on.
I'll be repetitive too.
Taking out some of your time. I mean, just all the stuff you did was just a big part of all our childhoods, and even today we'll still run the Salute Your Shorts every now and then, and even Are You Afraid of the Dark? You did an episode of that. I mean, you were literally everywhere in the '90s, dude.
Yeah,
like literally everywhere.
It was a busy 18 years.
And Mr. Belvedere too. Forgot that.
Belvedere, yeah.
Yeah.
Pound Puppies.
Mr. Belvedere.
Pound Puppies.
Riptide. Yep. That's
there's so much we haven't gone over.
I know. There's a lot.
So you're not only the personification of a jack of all trades, but you're the personification of the old saying, I have done it all.
Well, I don't know about all, but it's crazy some of the things that I ended up a part of. And like I said, I'm super blessed to have been a part of some really cool things that that people have an emotion with, and that's I can't. It's I'm super blessed, and like I said, thank you guys for watching it. It's if nobody watches, nobody cares. So
Well, hopefully we can we'll see a convention in New York sometime. There's
In
usually
Chicago.
fun out here.
Definitely.
yeah, and they're fun. I love meeting people. I'm a yapper. I'll blah 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 blah. I'll yent it up all day.
Up to date, Jonah.
Miss Divine, you had a question and or comment.
Oh, what was your favorite commercials to do when you were little? Because you were so cute when you were little, since before Different Strokes as well.
My commercials. I don't. Someone sent me a YouTube of a commercial, and it's weird. It's like even when I watch, someone or like I'll see like a clip of Different Strokes, and sometimes it's like a weird out of body experience because I don't remember it, and I'm like going, "That's definitely me," but I remember doing the show, but not specific episodes. So I don't remember. I think I did a Hot Wheels commercial. That was pretty cool. Yeah, it was an engine carrying case, and so that was pretty cool.
I remember
Commercials.
those.
Yeah, and then I from it was the very first television thing that I did, but I still think it's pretty awesome. I got to do an episode of Dukes of Hazzard,
Yeah.
and
Oh, that's legit.
that was pretty rad,
So cool. And when I think of your name too, Danny, like there's two people that personify an excellent '90s bullies like growing up in the animated shows, and that's you and Justin Shankaro. Like I showed you that clip. Like you guys were just. I thought I'd never see the day where I see two guys that were best known in the '90s for playing the most epic bullies. I mean, you played Montana Max, you played Victor on Ren and Stimpy, and then of course
Yeah.
Justin Shankaro, who played Glenn on Life with Louie, and then he goes years later on Hey Arnold, and then you two finally meet up in the same episode, which I thought was very cool.
Listen, it's always fun to be the bad guy.
It is.
They get to have all the fun.
They
How
do.
good it is to be bad.
Yeah.
So good to be bad. My final question, and by the way, we have a special treat for you before we end here. But before we do, I want to ask my final question and my final comment here. And my final question is, and you already know this too, what's next for Danny Cooksey? Now, you've been part of the show before.
Whatever.
Open forum. I'm passing you the proverbial microphone. The floor is yours, Mr. Cooksey.
What about the fun?
I don't really pursue doing much, so it's like I'll pop up occasionally. I'm just living life, I'm almost 50 years old. I'm a grandpa. I've been doing a music project. It's called Shelter Dogs. You can find it on Spotify, and we're working on our second record. We made the first one probably 6 or 7 years ago, and so we've been working on a second one that should be out sometime this year. And yeah, I'm just sort of, I'm like a feather in the wind.
So cool. And like I said, before I get to my final comment, I have a special treat for you. Nickelodeon in 2000, it's going to be literally 10 years. I can't believe 10 years ago, Nickelodeon put out this music video featuring Stoop Kid, a live action Stoop Kid music video. And I felt like, and yet, by the way, Chris, we are going to watch this full video because I respect Danny so much that we're actually going to play the full 2 minutes and 30 seconds of this music video because I feel like Danny should see this as he was Stoop Kid and he was the originator of this iconic episode. So I'm going to show you one last video and I just want to get your opinion on it.
Right on. Very cool.
Yeah.
Okie dokie.
I also loved you as the twins from the twins Brett and Chet from the Lorax as well as Different Strokes.
Thank you. Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
That was fun to do.
I know,
That was technology. That was like all Zoom. Before
Yeah.
Zoom. Prior COVID. It was like video conference.
Yeah.
It was fun. It was great.
Skype, maybe? Was it Skype?
I don't know. It was
Could have been Skype.
It could have been.
yeah.
All right, I got the video. Let me know when everyone sees it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okie dokie. I'm just going to put on full screen. I actually downloaded this video.
Got it.
You got it? Whoops.
Yeah,
I'm
Got it.
Whoopsie daisy. Here we go. Oh, hold on. Gotta restart it. Here we go. Here we go.
ships in the world. They had to land on his.
Ever since I was a baby, I've been on my own. I can't remember, this is all I've known. They all know my story, but no one cares. But I'm a king on a throne in my lawn chair. They say I'm afraid, they say that I'm scared, but all I need are these 3 stairs. I will never leave my stool. The number 1 question is, where do I poop? I will never leave my stool. I'ma do me, and you can do you. Hey! Stoop, kids afraid to leave his stoop. Stoop, kids afraid to leave his stoop. Stoop, kids afraid to leave his stoop. Kids afraid to leave his stoop. Kids afraid to leave his stoop. But then Arnold came along and gave me the courage to be strong. He told me I can leave this place, and there's no need to be afraid. So believe me when I say, Stoop Kid is making his escape. Hey Arnold, this goes out to you, because I finally left my stool. I traveled the world and on every stool. I finally left my stool, and I realized all the things I could do. Stool. Finally left my stool.
That is awesome.
For
That is too much.
Right?
That is rad. And you said someone put that out, or Nickelodeon put that out?
Nick put that out 10 years ago.
Oh, really? That's awesome.
When Splat came out, Nickelodeon Splat came out in 2015, I think they aired that music video to promote it.
That is awesome. That's great. That's great.
My final.
It's just, you just
I was
never
only
know.
14 in 2015. I was only
Oh my
14.
goodness. That's wild.
Oh
I
man.
know, right?
Well,
I feel old.
I feel old too at 35.
Yeah. But
You
you know, it's
don't,
like
you
it's
don't
almost
act
30.
old though. You don't like. You don't even look it. You don't look old either.
Oh,
you know?
thank you. You know, I'm gonna hit the wall really hard, but apparently not today.
My final comment for you, sir, is that, and by the way, Chris and I debate about this where he says I sound like a broken record. I like to think of it as a catchphrase, and that is, you have this incredible gift, sir, where you could take a 30-something-year-old fan like this dude right here and bring him way down here and make him feel like that 5-year-old or 4-year-old watching Tiny Toons or Hey Arnold. Like, you have that incredible gift, and I do mean that.
Oh, thank you. You know, it's less me. Like I said, I've been blessed to be part of some amazing projects that that people connect with, and I'm happy that that people relate to it, connect with it, and just happy to be a part of it. And thank you guys very much for
Thank
watching.
you.
Well, thank you. Because what's funny, really quick, that show my sense of humor. You know, like I get a lot of my sense of humor from there. Like, I mean, because as kids, it's where it starts and stuff like that. But it grew from there.
Yeah, no, and I think that's every generation has that sort of has that it is that it's imagination, sense of humor, and the ability to tap into your inner kid
Absolutely.
and still have fun.
Yeah.
Totally. And
Well, I still watch it. I'm surprised they never sent you the box sets of Tiny Toons or anything, but because I got the couple seasons of them back here, plus I still have the VHS.
That's awesome.
I'm weird like that.
Somebody sent me it was just a couple of days ago. Somebody had sent me a picture of somebody was selling like the McDonald's Tiny Toons or Burger King Tiny Toons, like toys from the early 90s. That I was like, oh, that's awesome.
McDonald's did that, I remember.
McDonald's, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a little car or something.
Danny, do you remember the prom episode of Tiny Toons?
I do.
I do not. I do not. Oh.
Oh, wait.
What was that, Dan?
Oh, I said I don't. I think you were the other Danny was like, I remember.
I wasn't sure which Dan would do.
I'm talking about you, Dan. So Dan, you remember that scene, like, and Dan, you probably remember this from recording those. There was a scene where you were like, Montana Max was insulting Elmira, and she said you have the brain of a toaster oven, and then he goes no, and then he's being very apologetic. He was like, I take that back. You don't really have the brain of a toaster oven. It's more of a microwave.
Why would I say that?
Oh.
He was a villain.
She just wanted love.
She just wanted love. I was like, was it hard to do that episode because you talk about like you had to scream all the time as Montana Max, especially when you had to scream at Elmira like I don't like you. Like, oof.
You know, I think that's why all of my characters scream because they were like, give it to Cooksey. His voice never goes out. He'll scream all day. Yeah, I listen. It's my superpower. I can scream.
Oh, you're so damn good at that.
Heck yeah.
So I'm gonna send you a copy of this interview as soon as it's done, and I would not only love to have you on in the future one day, like because part 3, you know, there's always that saying, third time's the charm. That
the trilogy. The trilogy.
And by the way, I absolutely love having you on and chatting with you. I think you're the man. But one of the things we want to do before we wrap up, and everyone knows where I'm going with this. We want to thank you. I mean, you're a legend to everybody. And I waited since I was 4 for, I mean, well, I did last time, but I'm going to do it again. And that is, thank you, Danny. Thank you.
Thank you, Danny.
Thank you.
Thank you, Danny.
You have a wonderful night, my man. I'm going to send you a copy of this interview as soon as I'm done editing. And thank you again for coming on, sir. It was an honor and pleasure.
Man, you guys are great. It was so nice meeting you guys. Have a wonderful evening.
You too,
Likewise.
sir.
Thanks for coming on, Danny.
Nice meeting you
All
too.
right.